Welcome to AG's Ace. Let's talk about the Tokyo Olympics, which is not too far away, and there are implications of the COVID pandemic. There is always already a bit of a tussle going on as to whether it should be held at all or not. Let's take a look as to who has the key to the Olympics and what are the implications. We'll do a couple of more takes later on this, on the budget, because it's a wide-ranging topic. Let's just focus on this one, where whether it will happen at all or not. So the Summer Olympic Games are scheduled to take place in Tokyo between 23rd July and 8th August 2021, so which is just about 2 months away from now. The International Olympic Association, or the IOC, however, has no intention of cancelling, convinced that a safe and secure Olympics can be held for the 11,000 expected athletes in Tokyo. 11,000 athletes would be descending on Tokyo for the Olympics. Now, earlier, the Olympics have been cancelled on 3 occasions, 1916, 1940, and 1944, each time because of world wars. So unless there's something very dramatically serious, Olympics are never cancelled. Like many other events, the Tokyo Games were postponed because of COVID, as we know, and the Olympics involved 33 competitions and 339 events held across 42 venues. 33 competitions and 339 events. Now, let's talk about the problem that Japan is currently facing. The cases remain high, and medical systems in Osaka, the hardest hit area in Western Japan, are still overburdened. The Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga said while announcing the decision, and he said, "I am aware that many people are voicing concern about holding the Olympics and Paralympics, which follow after that. I take them seriously, and I will proceed with preparations for a safe and secure games." So Japan extended a coronavirus state of emergency in Tokyo and other areas for 20 days recently, and the infections were still not slowing as it prepares to host the Olympics pretty much soon. Now, most events will be held in the greater Tokyo area. Some football games and the marathon are due to take place in Sapporo in Hokkaido, and which was affected by the pandemic, and for a while it was under emergency restrictions. Japan's borders will be shut to the foreigners due to the virus, so you will not have international fans traveling for the games, and what a loss that will be, because it's the fans also who make the Olympics happen. Imagine top stars participating amidst the cheers and the boos, as the case may be. Now, domestic spectators will be or may be allowed, though it's possible a worsening COVID situation would mean competitions go ahead with no audience. International athletes and support staff will have to be tested before departure and on arrival in Japan. That is part of the protocol. They will not have to undergo any quarantine, but they will have to stay in bubbles and avoid mixing with locals. Athletes also don't have to be vaccinated, though IOC officials expect around 80% will be. Participants will be tested daily throughout the games. Now, several towns which were set to host the athletes across the Tokyo region have reportedly pulled out of fear for the program might help spread COVID and put pressure on the healthcare system. So that is clearly a setback. Earlier in May, a doctors' union told the government that it was impossible to hold the games given the pandemic. One of Japan's, and this is interesting, one of Japan's most prominent business tycoon, he made a tweet which went viral. So he is Masayoshi Son, SoftBank CEO. And he said that most people wanted the Olympics to be postponed or cancelled, asking on what authority is it being forced through. This is another quote from him. Right now, more than 80% of the nation's people want the Olympics postponed or cancelled, Son said. And he also owns the SoftBank Hawks baseball team, by the way. A number of bodies and experts have also expressed concern about the games. The World Players Association, which represents 85,000 athletes in over 60 countries, has said the IOC must do more to ensure athletes' safety, calling for stricter physical distancing and more rigorous testing. It also wants the IOC to revoke its demand that athletes sign waivers as a condition of participation. Now, Japanese athletes have largely kept a low profile, but the country's biggest sports star, tennis champion Naomi Osaka, who's already making waves for refusing to speak to the press in the French Open, has said there should be a debate over the issue. So that's a bit of an iffy from her. Jules Boykoff, author of Olympians and Power Games, wrote an article in NYT calling for the games cancellation, and he said that a sports event shouldn't be a super spreader. Public health is more important than economic profit. Now, no major countries have spoken out against the games. The US issued a travel warning for Japan following the surge, but officials say they are confident their athletes will take part. Great Britain has also remained fully committed to sending their full team to the Tokyo Olympic Games. Chinese President Xi Jinping has also pledged his support, and China is due to host the next Winter Games, by the way, in February 2022. So they also have quite a bit at stake. Now listen to this carefully, and this is important. The contract between the IOC and host city Tokyo makes it clear that only the IOC can cancel the event. Only the IOC can cancel the event. The IOC is thought to make around 70% of its money from broadcast rights and around 18% from sponsorship. So a massive amount of money is made from broadcast rights. Now, if the games don't go ahead, it could severely damage the IOC's finances and the future of the Olympic movement. So what I want to hit upon a couple of points is that there is a lot riding on the Tokyo Games budget-wise. I'll be back with more details on it in subsequent takes because it's a wide-ranging topic. Can't squeeze in too much of numbers in here. Now, for the athletes, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. All the training would go to nil if games are cancelled. Many athletes will never get another chance to compete, and few understand what all a person goes through while training for the big games and what it means for them. So the hours of training, the sweat, the perspiration, the pain, the agony, the mental preparation, all of it will go to waste if the games do not happen. Now, if other sports events are being conducted, then why not the Tokyo Games? As it is, virtually no crowds would mean taking the fun and buzz out of the games, but it still leads to a podium finish. So in the end, also more than the budget, spare a thought for the 11,000 athletes who would want to participate in the Tokyo Games and try and earn a medal for themselves and for their country, and what it means for all of them. We'll be back with more on the Tokyo Olympics as the days go on. And thanks for watching AG's Ace.